Hey everyone, I'm John Dupree, president here at Consolidated Underwriters, and today we're making this video to get your questions answered way before you pick up the phone and call us, because trust me, we have a good idea of the gamut of questions that you will have because we've been helping agents here at Consolidated Underwriters for over 50 years. We also know as one question gets answered, more questions will arise as a result of that answer, and so on and so on. So we suggest that you first watch this video in its entirety because there's a good chance we will cover most everything here except for a few proprietary details that we just won't give away quite yet. Now what I'm going to do for you today is basically interview a person that's probably the most innovative and creative life and annuity agent I've ever seen in the business since I started over 20 years ago. I've personally seen a lot of superstars in this business and almost all of them have come and gone. Let me be a little more specific about that last comment. I have seen agents that have come into this business and with no experience make more money than they had ever before in their lifetime because of a marketing system. However, when the system became saturated with competition or the economy went south, those superstars went out of business. However, this person not only has survived economic dips and marketing fads, but he's had personally produced over $100,000 or more in personal production commissions every year he's been in business, which is now 12 consecutive years. The reason he was able to do more than survive over 12 years now is because of two reasons. First, because of his ability to recognize and stay in front of trends, and second, because he's created and implemented marketing systems without spending a fortune doing it. Today we have with us John Paragoy, president and founder of Nest Experts. Inc. John, thank you for joining us.
I'm excited to be here.
Now you watching this can find out a little more about John by visiting his personal website at nesteggradio.com. Not only does he own his own agency, but we've been fortunate enough to have him on staff here at Consolidated as Director of Annuity Sales. The reason he's here is this. He started out like many of you did in the business, but by learning how to run mortgage protection leads. Your first year in business, your IMO gave you the Rookie of the Year award, and now these awards are given out at the end of the year, and you didn't write your first piece of business until May
of 2005. That's right.
So in 7 months, you were able to get Rookie of the Year award, which is solely based on premiums submitted.
That's correct.
Okay, so the next year, to no one's surprise, you got the Agent of the Year award, which was awarded at the end of 2006.
Correct.
Again, this award was earned solely based on personal production submitted. Had nothing to do with override commissions or anything from another agent.
You know, I never really had any other sub-agents. I've never really had many sub-agents because I didn't really have time to focus on recruiting because marketing has really always been my focus. I was fortunate to realize early in my career that that I was not just in the life insurance business, but I was in the life insurance marketing business, and that if I run out of people to see, I'm out of business. So it never really mattered how well I knew the products or how well anyone knew the products or how much commission I was going to make. And until you really have somebody to see, you really don't have anything to sell.
Well, that brings us to the first system you developed. You created your own radio show in 2007 without ever having any experience or education in communications or without having anyone to turn to for advice. Tell us about that process.
Well, you know, to say it was simple, that'd be a lie. Really, the one thing that I did have going for me is that I've always been told that I've got a face for radio. To get started, here's all I really knew. That there were other people that were being successful with radio in large metropolitan areas. That's all I really knew. So I had never heard anyone else's show before, didn't have no idea what I would say. All I knew is that I was excited about getting the word out about safe money insurance products. And you know, at that time they were called index annuities. And I had learned about index annuities in the about midway 2006. And I actually sold my very first annuity in August of 2006, and life changed for me.
Who did all your recording and producing for you?
I did. I mean, I did it all, every bit of it, right from my office.
You mean you wrote the script topics, recorded it, and then you put in the introductions with the commercial breaks and everything?
Every bit of the editing, every bit of it.
Negotiated the time with the radio station, delivered it to the programming engineer, answered the calls live, and set your own appointments?
Yes, I did every bit of that.
Well, I know that was stressful. I've heard the first shows on your website, and they're very impressive. But is it very hard to believe you didn't have any help? I mean, why did you stop doing it?
Well, 3 reasons. If people started copying me was the first reason. The second reason is because of a contract dispute between the local radio station during the economic crash of 2008. And then the third is my referrals went through the roof. As hard as it is to believe that I didn't have any help, the reason I didn't have any is because I couldn't afford to pay help. I mean, the only thing that I paid for was in the radio production was that I had a professional voiceover that I hired to do my intros and outros, and it was just a couple of $100. I bought all my recording equipment, microphones, editing, audio editing software, royalty-free music, intros and outros, and then I just spit out a radio show.
Now, it wasn't too long after that you and I met up with each other, and that's when we got to see things firsthand on how you created something out of nothing. I've seen you work on marketing systems with personally producing the entire 6 years that I've known you, and it started with a prospecting system you named Ask 401k, which was pretty impressive. During this time, you earned your professional designation as a chartered retirement planning consultant, and it was then you saw the need for a Medicare marketing system. And boy, you knocked that one out of the park, I got to say. Yeah. You actually have two marketing strategies for Medicare. One of those involves a simple website named teachmeaboutmedicare.com.
Yeah, that teachmeaboutmedicare.com was very successful. I still get a lot of business off of that. It was a lot of work because website development and training videos had to be produced, but we also did a live workshop as well as an online version.
Well, right before the Medicare system, you developed a genius annuity marketing system too. Let's talk about that. The stuff is really effective, and it's still being used by you to market every annuity prospect that you meet with. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I really don't meet with people until they have actually been through this simple marketing process first. It involves just basically sending them a DVD. There's a little more to it than that, but it saves me a ton of time and money because it's actually more effective than dinner seminars and even more effective than a radio show that I used to do. Because it's really easy to duplicate because I don't have to create any needs for what I do. The DVD does that for me, and it does it very well. If to say its magnitude of what the impact it's made on my business, it's hard to put it into words. But it does such a great job of disturbing my prospects to act that when I meet with them all the time that I have to do, I would just make most of my time making the sale and presenting the product. But we'll talk more about that in a minute.
So you've proven that you have a success in developing innovative new marketing systems, but let's talk about this new one that you have. I can't tell you how excited I am about it, and I know you are. Before you give out the details, though, let's talk about what inspired you to create this, or more importantly, what was the thought process you went through to come up with these really cutting-edge marketing methods?
Well, sure. The first thing I did was I kind of listened to you talk on the phone for the last 6 years. I mean, you recruit year-round by email blast and running ads and postcards and etc. But when an agent calls in here, all the calls have been a common topic. The agent is either looking for more compensation, wouldn't you agree, or help with marketing. Okay. Now, many times it's both. It's not just I need two of these problem solvers. Now, from an outsider looking in, this would kind of appear that these are two separate needs. But however, I determined that they are actually the same need. They're just expressed differently. They're looking for more compensation because marketing, the way they're marketing is they're doing it very expensive because of the competition. It's become more and more competition. Or they're looking to help with marketing because the marketing they're doing now is not doing as well as it used to because there's more competition doing the same thing, which leads to a lower return on investment, which means they need more compensation to account for that marketing method that's better than everyone else. So it's the same thing, just said a different way. So then I looked at the methods, what the methods were like when I first got into the business, and I compared them with the way they are now. Now, you know what I found out was, with the exception of one thing, everything is still done exactly the same way now that it was 12 years ago. And I mean, you got to admit, it's kind of the same way. Yeah. So, you know, if I was a brand new agent with no experience, I would be doing the exact same thing that I would have been doing if I had joined you guys 12 years ago, except for one thing. The only difference would be is I'd be paying 3 times the amount for my lead. That's the only difference. Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And the leads have not changed. The script has not changed. The presentation hasn't changed. Products are pretty much the same. A couple of new ones out there, but basically they're the same. All of it's the same. But my customer acquisition cost, it's not the same. The problem with that is it lends one to believe that, you know, if you get more commission, it's automatically going to solve your problem. And there's nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, you know,
200% of nothing's nothing.
That's right. That's right. You know, it temporarily might motivate someone to work a little harder, but with all the other factors are still in place. So I did a search while sitting in front of you the other day, and we found out something that's very important to share. It just kind of blew my mind. I just simply went on Google and searched how hard is it to sell life insurance. You can do it at home if you're watching. And you know, and it was amazing is one of the first results came up. The first 2 paragraphs said this: selling life insurance is a tough way to make a living, and an even more difficult way to sustain a lucrative, long-lasting career. Industry analysts place the burnout rate in the first year of life insurance agents at greater than 90%. That means fewer than 1 in 10 people who embark on a career selling life insurance remain in the business beyond 1 year. The difficulties facing new life insurance agents are great in number, and that's what's amazing. And we just discussed some of those. It usually pays a straight commission. Finding qualified customers is notoriously difficult. The leads your company gives you, if it gives you any, are usually contacted by dozens of other agents. Even if you locate a good prospect, the prospect itself is hard to sell. People are loath to discuss and even acknowledge their own mortality. However, unlike a new car or an iPhone, life insurance provides none of the instant gratification that leads to people to make impulse purchases. Now, John, you know, you try to glamorize life insurance sales if you want to, but until now, this is probably the most accurate description of life insurance business that I've ever seen written. And you know, you have some deceptive lead practices out there, and you have saturation in the use of that's the old sales system that hasn't changed in 15 years. I'm talking about mortgage protection. Mm-hmm.
So what you've told us is what's wrong with the business. Now tell the people who are watching how your new system is solving these problems.
Okay, well, let's just talk about leads for just a few minutes. There are only 4 types of leads: a mailed lead, an internet lead, a media-generated lead, and a referral lead. Now, to keep it short, I'm only going to talk about, one thing I'm going to talk about is nothing but the mailed lead, because that is the type of lead that most independent agents uses. I mean, I have personally worked all of them, and I can tell you that personally that the mailed lead is the best lead for consistency, and that's what everyone has been using, you know, basically for the last 15 years.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Now, if you're with another IMO, how you get your lead can be a huge problem, and you know this. If you are getting your lead straight from the marketing company, whether you're paying for it or not, it's really a big mistake, and I can't stress this enough. Let's go back to the people, what the Google search said. It says, if it, meaning the IMO, gives you any, it's usually been contacted by dozens of agents. This is probably the cause of 50% of the agents quitting the business in the first year. Wouldn't you think so?
Sure, burnout.
I mean, well, they get discouraged. I mean, it's probably one of the most unethical practices in the business today. You know, the IMO sells it as an aged lead. Mm-hmm. And
well, they've got money in it, so they got to try to get their money back out of it. So they just
keep money. I get it. However, you know what you're really doing as a new agent. What you really do is you're giving these aged leads, and you're taught to go out and say your family and friends first, and then, you know, if you can do that, my hat's off to you. But I want you to think about this. The marketing company is asking you to do something really that they can't do themselves. I mean, and let's take a lead that has already been worked and get business out of it. I mean, where someone has left a bad taste in their mouth somewhere, or actually go and replace another agent's business. I mean, so if you are with that type of setup, there's something that you actually can do about this. And to avoid the appearance that this might be happening, we would direct you straight to the mail company. We don't do leads in-house, and we let you get it straight from the mail company, and it's sent directly to you. Nobody else sees it. We don't see it, only you. We call it doing a mail drop. I mean, it's really the only way to ensure the quality of your lead.
That's right, and we prefer staying out of the mix here. In addition, the lead company will actually give you a free CRM software to manage your leads. It's a real neat tool that you pay nothing extra for. Simply when someone fills out a lead and returns it, you get a scanned copy of the lead direct to your CRM software, along with an instant email alerting that you have a fresh lead. It's a real efficient system, and if you do it that way, you don't have to worry about your IMO cherry picking your leads or reselling your leads or controlling the amount of leads you get. Now, what else do you find out when you did your lead research?
Well, this is a surprising statistic that I found out, John. It says the lead, what the lead actually says, is still saying the same thing that it did 15 years ago. I mean, and you might say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. However, I want you to think about this. Statistics shows that 38% of Americans don't have life insurance. But yet 100% of them are going to die. Now,
and they know that.
See, affordability is not always the people. It's not always the reason that people don't buy life insurance. As the research indicated when we did on the search on how hard it was to sell life insurance, it's not an instant gratification product. It's in that statement that I question. It's not that life insurance is not an instant gratification product. It's that the salesperson is not trained to sell it as one. Because life insurance can be an instant gratification product. And I'll show you that in a minute. Talking about what the lead says, the lead is only appealing to the death benefit scenario. For example, it says on the lead, if you die, this insurance will pay off your $200,000 mortgage. There's nothing really instantly gratifying about that statement, yet a certain percentage of people are going to respond to that.
Yeah, we call that a hot button.
Right. And so I decided to test some other hot buttons. And, like not what life insurance can do for you if you die, but what life insurance can do for you while you're alive. I educate the prospects on the benefits that they can access in situations that in some instances are worse than death. For example, what would happen if you got into an accident and it left you critically ill? Now, with a lot of these policies now, you can get paid a huge lump sum just exercising that benefit. It's called a critical illness rider. Most people that survive a critical illness that I know of either aren't able to work for a while afterwards, or they aren't able to do what they did before the critical illness. Meaning, your lifestyle is going to have to change. But what if you could access 50 to 70% of your death benefit? Now that could be some instant gratification stuff. See, what if you were chronically ill? Same thing, get a lump sum. So, terminally ill. What if you became terminally ill? So, what the lead needs to say is that they need to know that they can access up to about 80% of the money without actually having to die, so that they can handle things before their death.
Right. Those are called living benefits, by the way.
Yeah, sure they are. But agents kind of overlook those benefits, and they fail to make it important to the prospect, and it's just because of poor training. And it's just a lot of times they're giving a lead, say best of luck to you. But what's great is these riders are mostly free, and they are included with most all life insurance products now. In this state, there is a requirement to include at least an accelerated death benefit rider for free But other companies have actually become innovative and given a little easier access to the death benefit. And like I said, by creating critical and chronic illness access to it. When I first started testing this new system myself, and this was what really blew me away, I regularly sold policies to people who already had enough life insurance. But just on the fact that I said, yeah, but does your policy have these benefits? They bought it. In fact, I would say really about 60% of the policies that I've sold recently from this system was a direct result of interest in the living benefits, not the death benefit.
Are those the only other benefits that you try to sell?
No, and I'm glad you asked. I mean, because there are agents who have been in the business for years, and they really don't know about some of the new GUL policies out there that offer a cash out rider for free. I mean, it's
all right, cash out rider. Explain that.
Okay, well, some companies kind of give you the flexibility to keep permanent coverage in place, or the option to get 45% of the face amount of the policy back over when you kept the policy between a period of 20 to 25 years. After that period, the option to cash out goes away, but these GUL policies don't build traditional cash value that you can borrow against, but it guarantees it's not going to lapse like the old ULs used to implode.
As long as you pay the plan premium.
That's right. As long as you pay the plan premium, they're going to stay in force. Or in a 20 to 25 year range, they're going to give you a cash out, and it's pretty attractive. And there's a few carriers that do this, but man, does it make an easy sell, because you're just showing something. You're not throwing money away here.
So what you're saying is this: if you just want to be a better agent, don't necessarily want to change marketing companies, but just increase your lead quality and chances of making a sale, you can just start getting a lead that you control, that is worded differently and goes through no other person's hands but yours, and you can get started doing that today, and you'll show the agents how to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, after you watch this entire video, all you'll need to do is just basically reply to the email with the subject "Better Agent" and just ask us to call you, and we'll show you how to get it set up.
No catch.
No, I mean, now we aren't going to share our calling scripts and which carriers we're using and how to teach you how to do the business if you're with someone else, but we don't have a problem showing you how to get a better lead, and so that you aren't handcuffed. I mean, who knows? You might even need a carrier we have, but you don't have to leave where you are to get those tools.
Okay, well that brings us to the next point. If an agent's willing to connect with a few of our carriers, explain what else will open up for that person watching the video.
Well, John, the first thing that's going to open up is we're going to be able to do for you is get a discount on your lead drops. Right now, 1,000 mortgage protection leads with the freshest data available will cost you about $650 per 1,000.
Right.
That's not our price. That's the mail houses. That's what they charge. But if you just give us one life insurance carrier contract, and you're going to instantly qualify to get a discount of about $50 per 1,000 on your next lead drop. Plus, we're going to give you access to some texting tips, plus an appointment setting script that's really killer.
All right, but John, some of the agents I'm sure watching just may not be satisfied with just getting, at the better agent level. Tell them what else you're making available to them.
Well, John, during my 12 years in business, I've come to learn that only about 5% of the life insurance have ever sold an annuity. I mean, you've seen it yourself. Mm-hmm. When I ask some of the life insurance that come in here to our office, why haven't they ever sold one, they simply say they just really don't know how. And now, there's a lot of money in annuity sales, whether you know it or not. Agents just like yourself are stepping over annuity sales all day long to get to a life insurance sale. I mean, if you sold an annuity as a life insurance agent, that would put you in the top 5% of life insurance agents. And I would submit to you that would make you an elite agent, wouldn't it, John?
Absolutely.
So if you want to become an elite agent, then it would first require you having a contract to sell an annuity first. And if you give us an annuity contract with our preferred carriers, in addition to one life insurance contract that you gave us by being a better agent offer, then we'll give you all of the lead access and discounts as a better agent. Plus, we're going to give you access to our proprietary annuity marketing system, all the training videos, as well as detailed instructions on how our annuity market system works. I mean, if you want to take your business to the next level, you need to be selling annuities in addition to life insurance. It's just that simple.
Now, some of you might already be selling annuities and don't need training, but I've seen John's annuity marketing system, and it will complement anything else that you're currently doing, especially if you have those people that are on the fence and they don't know whether or not they want to purchase one. It works very, very well.
Yes,
But we do require an annuity contract, with one of our preferred carriers in order to gain access to that. All of that's really good, but that has little to do with why we're so excited, because we haven't even begun to describe the new system,
No.
that John has developed. And John, how much of this life insurance marketing system are you willing to talk about today?
Well, John, I'm going to talk about all of it, but there's just some details that I'm just not, don't need to give out, because we really don't want to create our own competition. I mean, but it's really, really exciting stuff. I mean, what I've learned how to do is to take a mailed lead and blow a prospect's mind to the point where they want to do business with me. I mean, we just got to call one of my agents doing it. I mean, they're going to write a $4 million case. I mean, I do this unique strategy. I do several unique strategies that no one else is using effectively. I mean, and essentially, what we're going to do is show you how to become a super agent.
All right. Well, first of all, before you get into any details, let me interject this comment. I want you all watching to know this. I don't know who your marketing organization is, and there's some really good ones out there, and then some not so. But when it comes to the very top of the organization, they cannot do what they're asking you to do. Okay, let me repeat that. They can't take recycled, rehashed leads and generate tons of premium out of them. It just doesn't work that way. So it's
But
pretty
they want you to do it.
Exactly, they want you to do it, and they can spin it, cut your teeth, or whatever how they do it. But it's a tough road to hoe, and that's why you said so many people burn out of it. It's been my experience that it takes years to build a reputation and seconds to kill it. So I make sure that the both of us here, I've seen your systems firsthand. We make sure they're tried and true, tested in-house before we roll something out to folks, because it's an agent's honest, hard-earned money to put in this system, and it doesn't benefit us for an agent not to be successful in the system. So I've seen firsthand the success of the systems, and we make sure we test them, and you and I go back and forth on your ideas and tweak them and tweak them and tweak them.
Yeah, we both done what we're asking. We're going to show you how to do. We've done it ourselves.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to say it. So go ahead and continue.
Well, I mean, like I said, good point. It's a good point. They can't take 60 and 90-day-old leads and glean business out of them. They can't do it, but they're asking you to do it. So, if you ever speak with us on the phone, what the point John's making is you're not going to be speaking with someone that's feeding you a bunch of concepts and a bunch of hypotheticals. I mean, no. We know it works, and so that's why we're so excited about this, and why we know there's some people out there watching this today that would even be better at this than we are if they could just be exposed to it, and they can make this a home run $1 million revenue stream just by duplicating and adding their little touch to it.
Exactly my point. Right.
So, well, let's just talk about what the system does and why it works so well. I mean, it starts off with who we're calling. I mean, as we've already discussed, being a super agent starts with a better lead. The industry has tried to tell us that, we need to mail people that have had a life event, and that's typically the life event that they've chosen to do is the buying a house life event. Now, what we're saying is don't restrict yourself to just that life event. I mean, we have learned how to get more effective data that has nothing to do with a home purchase.
So the lead you're creating for a super agent is not a mortgage nor a final expense lead, right?
Right. It is a brand new type of lead that no one else has ever really even thought of creating. Mm-hmm. It has double of the return rate of a mortgage loan.
And that's what I'm excited about, because when I saw your success with those leads, I knew you had a game changer, and I would actually go into your office and watch you call and close business right there over the phone.
Yeah, right. I mean, when we get that lead in our hand, that's actually when the magic starts. I mean, we've already hinted that we use text to contact the prospect, but a simple text message is far from what they're actually going to receive. So, we send an effective message that gets you what you want, and that's talking to someone that is interested in what you have to say, and you don't have to have your guard up, worrying about if they're going to hang up on you. Then next, when we get them on the phone, we are in charge of the conversation. We teach you how to do that, not them. We only spend enough time on the phone to do two things. We get the information to provide an accurate quote, and then we kind of set the expectation of what they might expect from us next, and that's a critical point. But from that point, you can sell it over the phone from there if you want to, or you can set an appointment to go see them in person if you prefer. I mean, it's how you want to do business. Now, if you want to sell them over the phone, then that's where you're going to learn some stuff that you never imagined a life insurance agent being able to do, or even knowing how to do. I mean, I have to tell you this. I've sold life insurance and annuities doing this, and with the annuities, I did actually have to eventually go to their house and meet with them personally. However, that was just to take the application. The annuity was already sold. The annuities were already sold before I ever left, and it was sold completely over the phone. However, AML regulations state that you must verify a person's identification,
Sure.
And our preferred carrier says that you must state that you met with them at some point to verify their licenses and stuff like that.
But the hard part was already over.
Oh yeah, the application, we did it online, which is really all I do.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen you do it, and I know that it works. And that's why I suggest that we record every step of the process so you can teach others to duplicate it, just like you're doing.
That's right. I mean, recording the process was actually more difficult than creating the sales system and
Right.
the new leads and stuff. I mean, we have hours and hours of detailed video instruction that even a brand new agent can start producing like a pro right out of the gate. I mean, I've created training videos on my scripts, on how and when to make a call, how to run quotes, detailed process on how to deliver the quote to the client, and how to make that get you a response. And I've even recorded real life calls of real life leads and shown agents in real time how to close business, take an app, and submit the business, all on video.
You were actually working real leads and recording the whole process, unscripted as you went through it, step by step.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, John, obviously I'm excited about all of this, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you sharing your system with us for those watching. But I'm sure all the folks out there watching would also like to know, how do you get started?
Sure. I mean, we try to make it easy for you. All we really have to do is just respond back to the email that you received this video link in, and just state that you have watched this video and you're ready to get started, and we will call you.
That's simple.
It's just that simple. We made it easy for you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.